All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, right now, we are actually live on 99.9 on the FM dial. And of course, Facebook and YouTube as well. And we have a phenomenal, amazing band. That's right. We got Cedar Green right here live on the radio. How are you doing this evening, man?
Honestly, it's been a great day. It's been a great couple days. I mean, I don't want to talk too much like right away. We'll definitely get into it, but we're definitely feeling good here. Myself, I'm feeling pretty great too. How about you?
Oh, man, doing best I can possibly be. Normally, I don't like Mondays, but this Monday actually went pretty smoothly for once. So that I got to say, no complaints here on my end.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna get talking and everything. We played a great show this weekend. We haven't played music as a band for such a long time. And for us to finally get out there this weekend playing in our hometown, we had a really, really great experience. So feeling that high this Monday.
But also, I speaking of, what you guys have been doing amazing things. I got to take you back to the beginning of Cedar Green and taking you back to the year 2013 in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, where you guys actually came together to form Cedar Green. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a story about your humbling beginnings, and of course, how did yourself and the other members actually first meet and come together as one?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that was like the theme of the show this weekend was just how fate all works out, how we all met. It was all friends of friends. It should not. We have never. Our paths never have crossed. We never met each other as like younger kids. I never knew any of my bandmates when I was like really young until I was a teenager, 17, 18, maybe 16, I would say. And we all found love through underground bands, little bands. Like, I don't know if you've heard of a band like I Am King.
I've heard of them, yeah. I heard of them.
They were around a couple years ago. They were from our area. Another band, obviously, Taking Back Sunday. Huge Taking Back Sunday fans. And just like when we finally met, we didn't know anybody like who liked those kinds of bands. We're like, what? You like that kind of music? You like Blink-182? This is so cool. I've never met anybody else who likes that. Yeah, it all started through friends of friends. We all met each other, either through a friend saying, "Hey, I know a friend who sings. Oh, I know a friend who plays drums." And to be honest, we have been friends since the first time, best friends since the very first hangout. I won't lie. It's been an amazing 10 years with these guys.
And also as well, I actually saw on Apple Music that on July 15th of 2014, so just a year after you guys actually formed Cedar Green, you guys actually released the 7-track album titled The Tale of Two Wolves. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this earlier released album, and of course, is it actually still out there to be streamed or purchased today in 2023, almost 10 years ago? Wow.
Yeah, it was, speaking of bands like Taking Back Sunday, I mean, and I mean, that was so heavily influenced by like just like screaming into a microphone. Yeah, we have all of our songs are available on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer Music, anything that you can actually physically stream or buy music, Cedar Green is on. So definitely check that out. I should have probably mentioned, before we were in Cedar Green, we were in a band together called In Aviation. And so we were writing music in this band, and that band just kind of ended. And when we picked up again doing Cedar Green, we had all these songs from our other band, and we were like, we felt like older and wiser. But like I said, but it was just so heavily influenced by Taking Back Sunday and screaming into a microphone, just making loud music. And it's definitely, I think, Boys Like Girls said it best. Those songs belong to the people who love them. Maybe we don't, or like Haley from Paramore. She doesn't maybe she doesn't really identify with Misery Business as much anymore, but she recognizes that like the crowd and her fans still love those songs and can connect with them. So that's kind of how we feel about them. Like those songs are for the people who like really love them, and we're happy that we made them all those years ago.
And obviously, as well, this is a very early project by you guys. Do you guys have any plans to maybe like re-release like a remastered version, like a 10-year anniversary special or something like that? Because I got to say, me personally, I've been a fan of you guys for a while. I did not know this album existed until like I did the questions for this interview, and then I listened to it, and I was like, shit,
Yes,
this is a gem,
yes.
man. How did I miss this?
Yeah, well, it's crazy that you're even mentioning that. Like, who would even? You're just like you're taking the thought out of my brain. Yeah, we definitely have the idea to take some of those songs, whether it's at the end of this year or early next year, maybe re-record like one or two of them from that album, for sure. You sniffed that out real quick. But yeah, no, that was yeah, that's definitely an idea of ours.
And also as well, while we're still in the early stages of Cedar Green, you guys also had the opportunity to share the stage with Sleeping with Sirens back in the day. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this particular show. And of course, did you get the opportunity to kick it with Sirens before or after your guys' performance?
All right, so this is a great opportunity to share a story that I don't know if a lot of people know. Obviously, a lot of people were at that show. This was in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and it's a theater. It's a theater that bands like the 1975 have played at, Mayday Parade. I mean, humongous bands have played this venue, and Sleeping with Sirens is one of those big bands, and they play with Neck Deep as well. This was while they were on like a co-headlining tour with All Time Low, so they had an off date, and it was just Sleeping with Sirens and Neck Deep, no All Time Low. So it was the two of them, and the promoter of the band of the venue said, "Hey, maybe we can grab a local band for this." And we instantly, took to our social media and said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Cedar Green opened up this show?" And we got an email like that night, like saying, like, "Hey, like, can you guys play?" And it was super cool to like represent our because this is like our area. Like, even though Stroudsburg is far from the Lehigh Valley, it's still part of the Lehigh Valley. It's like far out in the Lehigh Valley, and to just like be able to represent that and to show up on that stage, and there was so many people. I cannot I mean, our shows with Silverstein in Canada were big, but to walk out on that stage for Sleeping with Sirens crowd, they are amazing fans because they show up. They do not want to be late. It's either that or they wanted to see us. No. But no, they wanted to get in that venue, and they wanted to see Sleeping with Sirens and Negative, and it was packed the minute that the show started. I mean, for opening acts, sometimes not everybody sticks or even comes early to the show. I mean, this was wall to wall from the very first note that we played. We were treated so amazing. The Sherman Theaters, first of all, is one of the best venues in our area, and we were playing our song Akron off of The Tale of Two Wolves, and our guitarist Harley, he was borrowing, actually mentioning I Am King again, he was borrowing the guitarist's guitar of I Am King. And it was a Music Man, very expensive guitar. He was like, "Oh, you guys are opening it up for Sleeping with Sirens. I want you to, play with this guitar. It's going to sound great." So Harley, he has his strap locks, and we're playing Akron, and the song starts really, really slow. And as soon as there's like this pause, I know you said you were jamming the album, but there's like this really, really, really fast punk rock part of Akron, and he decides to flip his guitar, and the strap locks completely break. And the guitar, whatever amount of money, I can't even say, this guitar just goes flying up in the air. And We're playing in front. I can't lie to you. There must be like 1,000, 2,000 people there, and this guitar goes straight up into the air. And I don't notice it. I don't think anyone in the band noticed it. But to finally kind of get to the end of this story, he did successfully get a new guitar, and we played the hell out of that show. Moral of the story, we didn't get to hang out with Sleeping with Sirens, but they did acknowledge that that was one of the coolest things that they've ever seen from a local opener, a guitar going 15, 20 feet up in the air. And yeah, so that was my story about our time opening up for Sleeping with Sirens.
And I know this is probably a question that's going to answer it, that probably answered itself just throughout that story, but I got to know, what was the fate of the guitar? Did he miraculously like MacGyver that shit and catch it and keep going, or did it like implode?
So they had a humongous drum riser behind us. So they had a drum riser, and it had like a big drape over it, and he threw it so high up that it went over the drum riser. It went completely over the drum riser, and they had to like find it like backstage. Like he had to grab a completely different guitar and finish the song.
Well, I got to say, rest in peace to that guitar, but you know, it definitely went out in style.
It went out in style. Yeah, no, for sure. Memories. I don't know if anyone's listening, or if I clip this later, if you have footage of that moment, please send it to us, because we would love to live that moment again.
I got to say, that's documentary type worthy footage of those. So if you guys have it, definitely shoot it over to Cedar
Yeah,
Green.
if anyone has it, please.
And also as well, so while we're actually on the topic of performances and concerts and whatnot, November of 2017, you guys also had the opportunity to tour not only America, but also Canada in a North American tour alongside legendary Canadian band Silverstein. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about that particular tour. And of course, what is actually one of your most fondest memories of that tour? Because you guys had the opportunity to go on a North American-wide tour with a huge, amazing band.
A huge band. I mean, huge band, and really great people. They are kind people. They are grateful people, and they don't slack. They don't slack at all. Like every show, they gave it like 2,000%. It was amazing to sit side stage every night to see them. It was a masterclass of what we would strive to be one day, or what, being that young or being as young as we are, you get to see people who did it before you, and you're just like, wow, that is so cool. And for us, I can't stress it enough that these are my best friends, and the entire experience was really cool. I mean, being able to travel with your best friends, even if you're not playing music, please just do it. It's a really great experience. I don't know why, but I feel like I only remember funny stories. There was a time where we were going through the Rocky Mountains it was in the Western Canada. I forget what part it's called. It's what well it'll come to me. It'll come to me in a moment. But we were on our way to Vancouver, and Harley again, the star of Another Story. Actually, he's not the star, but plays a big role. Harley is probably the most technical and most mechanically savvy in the band. So if anything went wrong, like with our van or our trailer, he'd probably be like the most reliable guy. So we played a show in, I think it was Montreal, and he had to catch a flight to go to his friend's wedding. So he flew from Canada to Pennsylvania after our show to see to be a part of a wedding. So then he was going to join the wedding and then catch another flight, then back to Vancouver where we would pick him up, and then he would play our show. So our most mechanically savvy guy is is gone. He's in a different state, I mean, a different country, and we have to travel through the Rocky Mountains without him. Um, we get to like a stop, and I don't know if you've ever had to deal with it, but they get us to like a checkpoint, and they say, hey, like you have to make sure you have this amount of gas, this amount of tire pressure. You gotta, like you can't go through here like going like a certain amount of speed. And we're like, okay, we'll be super safe. They're like, okay, well the sun's going down, so just be careful. Okay, there's no gas, so just be careful. Okay. We're going through, and I'm driving, and the Rocky Mountains are beautiful, gorgeous. The water is clear. There's colors. There's elk. There's every kind of animal just like coming down like the mountain, and we're looking so beautiful. And then all of a sudden the van starts to go, what we're bouncing around, and I just see my back tire fly once again. Another flying story. Fly into the air, go somewhere into the mountains, hit an elk, like go wherever, and we get stuck in the Rocky Mountains for like 3 hours waiting for someone to help us. I can go on with that story. It would take me another like 2 hours to tell it, but just think about like we're just like these silly people like in the middle of the Rocky Mountains with a broken down van, like with a busted tire. We're like, okay, we got to figure this out. We figured it out. We got to Vancouver just fine, but
Yeah, those mountains out there. Like I've never been, but I've heard stories from other fellow Canadians that they're beautiful, but they're also treacherous at the same time.
I could not believe it. And like some guy came up and was like, I could help you. He was like, but we have to like lift the trailer up because you don't have a jack. And I was like, oh my God, like it was crazy. Like we got we lifted, it was like 12 guys. We all like lifted the trailer up. We got the tire on, and we got to the show. So Canada was amazing though. I mean, every time we showed up to a venue, the promoters treated us well. The opening bands were sick. I think we met a band. Gosh, I can't believe something. They're Chief State. I don't know if you've heard of a band, Chief State. They're
I
absolutely
have.
blowing up. Yeah, they're absolutely blowing up right now. They opened up for a date or two on that tour.
And also as well, on June 12th of 2023, you guys actually released your most recent single titled "Million Dollar Question" that's currently tearing up the airwaves and, of course, Spotify and all the streaming charts. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about this most recently released single, and, of course, where can we actually stream it today? Because I got to say, such an amazing song.
Well, no, I appreciate that. Once again, anywhere that music can be streamed or listened to, we're on it. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Please, that we don't have like any merch at the moment. We're kind of going through a little bit of a rebuild as a band. As you said, we've been a band for 10 years, and at this moment, we just put out our very first single in a very long time called "The $1 Million Question." It's a song about the last 5 years. We kind of just like reflecting on our journey and what where our mindsets were all those years ago and where we are now, and thinking back like a story about going through Canada, right? Or just like all of the craziness and just all those stories, and then thinking about it when you're a little bit older and be like, wow, that was something. The very second the second verse of the song says like, looking back, I'd call you a psycho. It's like, it just, if I was to talk to myself 5, 6, 7 years ago, I'd be like, man, you're crazy. So the song's really just about a perspective of looking back and being, well, I mean, okay, so if we really want to get real, I mean, the very first line says, you all hated on me. And I felt like there was a lot of people in my, not in my circle, but just around, the band that didn't understand what we were didn't understand, why we were doing things, and would hate us hate on us or hate on me particularly for doing things, and I just felt like that was a really cool like first line to come back with. This one's for y'all.
And also as well, I actually saw just recently post on your guys' Instagram that August 12th, you will actually be a featured artist at the Anime Night Beach Party Tour. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this event. And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some tickets to come out and see you next month, and of course, potentially even meet you as well?
Hell yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, so big anime guy. I don't know about you. Do you listen to any anime? I mean, do you watch any
I
anime?
watch a little bit. I watch a little bit of it. I mean, like, I think what I guess you can say when I was younger, I watched Pokemon, but I know all the
Okay,
anime fans are gonna be like, "Yo, that ain't an anime."
that it. Well, I'm singing the Pokemon theme song, so I guess it is anime. That is actually one of the songs that I'm singing, so you would know actually one of them. Yeah, it's going to be at the House of Independence in New Jersey. A, a venue that is unbelievable to be playing at. I'm very honored that I was even asked to perform. Um, I'm a huge anime fan. I fell in love with it right before the pandemic hit. So as the pandemic hit, and there was nothing to do other than watch like 50 episodes of an anime in a week or like a day. Like that was like the best thing in the world. And every anime has the most super heavy like punk, pop punk metal intro. That's like the most iconic part of, like anime intros. And that's what Anime Night's going to really be about. It's about taking those songs that are super catchy that we all like love to listen to in those intros. I'll be honest, there's some where I don't hit that skip button. Like I'll listen to the intro because it's that good. And so yeah, I'll be singing all those songs. I am going to be posting the link for that on my page very soon on cedargreen.com. As of right now, you might be able to go to the Anime Night Instagram. So just find Anime Night. I think it's just at Anime Night. And they should have a link there to buy tickets. I believe their next date is next week. They're going to be in Ohio. So, Ohio, if you're out there listening, go check out Anime Night. And then New
And
Jersey.
also as well, because obviously, this is going to be a solo performance just from you at Anime Night
Yeah.
on August 12th. But before then, is Cedar Green, the entire band, actually going to be performing? And if so, where can we snag tickets for that one as well?
So like I said, this past weekend we just did a headliner in our hometown in Bethlehem. The headliner was amazing. It was like a DIY kind of thing, just kind of like almost like an homage of how we've done it our entire careers, leading up to being a national act. Like being able to tour with great bands. So when we came back, this was like I said, an homage, a DIY. The venue was a committee of people who were volunteering to be there. So everyone wanted to be there, and we brought out a great crowd. They brought out their crowd, and it was a really fun night. After that, obviously the DMs are filling up with show opportunities. I do have a solo acoustic performance next week in Bethlehem again, at the the Flying V. It's a poutineery place. The Flying V. I know y'all like your poutine.
That's really
But
cool,
yeah,
man. I actually did not know there was actually poutineeries actually out there in America. So that's like they say, you always learn
brand
something
new.
new every day, and
It's
I just learned something.
Yeah, it's such a hot place in Bethlehem right now, and yeah. So sadly, one of the bands had to drop for some unfortunate reasons, and they hit us up a couple days ago, and as I said, we're coming back. So I'm trying to come back with a vengeance. I'm trying to play some shows, whatever comes our way. Yeah, we're definitely hungry to get back at it. So anything, we'll definitely be around playing shows. But if anything comes up, check out our social media or cedargreenpa.com. It'll all be there.
And also, obviously, aside from the Poutineery acoustic, and of course, Anime Night, August 12th, what is next for yourself and, of course, the rest of Cedar Green? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you still want to talk about, touch on, or promote? We still got you here live on the radio.
We are back, everybody. We're going to be writing some new music. We are going to be playing shows. We don't know when we're going to be playing shows consistently again, where it's still, in the works. One of the proudest moments, in our lives right now is actually in our personal lives. A lot of our members of our band are engaged and getting married. So a lot of things are happening, but one of the coolest things is that everyone still feels very, very, very passionate and driven to still do this project and this band. So as of right now, no plans for any shows, but plans for definitely new music by the end of this year.
And obviously, I know how to follow you guys on social media, but for the individuals that are listening that might just be discovering Cedar Green tonight, how can they go about following you guys on social media and staying updated on everything past, present, and future?
Yeah, so as of right now, Instagram. Instagram is where we're going to be posting everything. We're not really live on Facebook or Twitter right now. We are primarily focusing on Instagram, so please just follow us at Cedar Green. Cedar Green, like the color, cedar like the tree, green like the color, PA, and that's where you'll catch all of our updates.
And I got to say, first and foremost, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this Monday evening and just talking everything that is to come, and of course, everything that has happened with you guys over this past decade, man. It was such an honor to speak with you. Absolutely been a fan for a long time, man. So definitely hope down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, definitely have yourselves a phenomenal night and, of course, a kick-ass weekend as well.
Kick-ass weekend. Yeah, you know what? I could have talked for probably like 2 more hours. So anytime you want to do this again, I'll eat up your airwave time.
Hey, man, whenever your guys' new project drops, obviously we're following one another, so I'll definitely be following. And once that new album drops, I'll definitely hit you up and we can do this all over again.
DJ Immortal, I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, you're most certainly welcome, man. Definitely have yourself a phenomenal night. We definitely shall talk again here soon.
Until next time.